I was happening, y'all. It's your boy Rico from StreetScores, and I feel like it's now a good time before we start to dive into all of the Ravens things going on and previewing that matchup, because you know I'm coming with that. I feel like today is a good day to dive into a lot of the praise that the Washington Commanders received after beating the Browns, especially the way that we did. You have Skip Bayless saying that this upcoming matchup between the Commanders and the Baltimore Ravens is a Super Bowl preview. You have some people saying that Jayden Daniels is already the best quarterback in the NFL. Not one of the best, the best. And we have multiple people saying that he's top 5. You also have Jayden Daniels winning Rookie of the Week again, and we have a lot more praise to talk about, even some Frankie Luvu praise as well. But before we dive into all of that, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Of course, I will be live streaming this upcoming game against the Ravens. Be on the lookout because I'm working on a full preview video, basically the formula, the recipe to how we can beat them. What are their weaknesses? What are their strengths that we need to worry about? All of that type of stuff. So be on the lookout for that. And I'm also still working on a statistics video, so be on the lookout tonight for all of the ridiculous statistics that came from that Cleveland Browns win as well. I'm updating y'all on all of the injuries and everything, and I'm super excited about this upcoming game against the Ravens. First of all, for the game, but also stream wise, I've stayed up late 2 nights in a row adding effects and sounds to the stream. Y'all will see with this upcoming Ravens game. I'm excited to show y'all. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this video, man. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so let's start with the early believers of Jayden Daniels before the draft even happened. You have a few people that had Jayden Daniels as their favorite quarterback even before the draft even happened, before Caleb Williams went to the Bears, before Jayden Daniels went to the Commanders. You had guys like Louis Riddick, who has been screaming that Jayden Daniels would be the best quarterback from this draft. And then after that Browns game, no, not even after the Browns game, during the Browns game, sometime in the first quarter, I'm assuming it was after that 66-yard bomb while on the run, Louis Riddick just typed in Jayden Daniels, period. That's literally it. That's just to let you know. Then you have Ryan Clark. At some point, like halfway through the game, maybe early third quarter, he tweeted Jayden Daniels ... easy money. Then you have Louis Riddick again. He said later on, I think a couple of days ago, so well after the Cleveland Browns game, he said the deep throws that Jayden Daniels connected with on yesterday are even better watching them on tape. Perfect trajectory, touch, placement. The man is just that effing good. And of course, Kurt, one of the biggest Jayden Daniels fans coming out of the draft, has done film sessions on him, breaking down truly how great Jayden Daniels has been. Now let's talk about some people who normally hate the Commanders because they're Cowboys fans or they're just national media members that just typically ignore us, and even when we have had some sort of success in the past, they would just ignore it, brush it off as if it didn't happen, or doubt it, it's not going to last long. And ultimately, they have been right. But now you have guys like Stephen A. Smith saying that Jayden Daniels for sure needs to be in the MVP conversation. Even as much as Dan Orlovsky loves Jayden Daniels and felt like he was probably the number 1 quarterback coming out of the draft, Stephen A. Smith has been debating with him about Jayden Daniels being a part of the MVP conversation. Dan Orlovsky is like, I gotta wait and see. He needs to beat a great team like the Ravens. Stephen A. Smith is like, even before he beats the Ravens, no matter what happens in that Ravens game, Jayden Daniels should be considered MVP. Then you have Antonio Brown tweeting, Jayden Daniels may mess around and be the MVP. Straight up, just that's all he tweeted. Nothing crazy. Even when he tweets something sports related, it's usually something crazy attached. When he's talking about Jayden Daniels, it's now 2 weeks in a row he's talked about Jayden Daniels and hasn't said anything ridiculous out of his mouth, which is completely wild from Antonio Brown. That's rare. Then you have Skip Bayless. He said, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I can't wait for the Commanders at Ravens. I mean, could this be the Super Bowl preview? Basically saying that the Washington Commanders are the best team in the NFC and the Ravens are the best team in the AFC, man. And then Skip Bayless also tweeted, I keep trying to tell you about that team and that quarterback in Washington. Now the team playing the best football in the NFC East. Let's get it, man. I love to hear it. Now let's move on to just all of the general national media and experts that have given Jayden Daniels and the Commanders high-level praise, just period. Like Mike Renner, he tweeted October 7th, if the NFL were to redraft the 2024 class right now, who is the player you think moves up the most? Chad Forbes, again, all of these people we're about to read about giving us compliments are not Commanders fans, Commanders reporters, Commanders expert, nothing. No beat writer, no nothing. This is pure national media, draft analyst, expert, just, random people. Chad Forbes at NFL Draft Bites simply just said Jayden Daniels. And that's incredible to me because I feel like, Brian Thomas could end up skyrocketing based off of the season he's had so far. He's like one of the very few bright spots the Jaguars have going on. Zach Frazier, you could argue, has been the best center in the NFL. Dominic Pooney has been playing well. It's a lot of good rookies out there that you can throw out there. And a lot of these, how far can Jayden Daniels go up? He was drafted second overall. He can only go up one spot. So that's why I thought that answer was interesting. But again, coming from a non-Commanders fan that's saying that Jayden Daniels would be that guy is very interesting. Then you also have Dane Brugler. He said the gap in quarterback play in this Browns-Commanders game is astonishing, massive. Then you have Darren Orlovsky. He said Jayden is the main story in Washington 100%. Star, but watching Bobby Wagner and Luvu, that defense is humming. So a compliment to both Jayden Daniels and our linebackers. And then you have Jay Gruden, who I guess is sort of attached to the Commanders, but he has been loving what we got going on. He's been doing passionate film sessions on us after every win. And then even when he's talking about the Commanders, he's he's saying we. Instead of the Commanders, he's saying we did this, we are doing this, and things like that. He feels like he's a part of the gang again type of thing. Jay Gruden's loving it. He said after the game, quote, these guys are as good as anybody in the league right now. With the play of Jayden Daniels, the way they can run the ball and the defense starting to come together, I don't see why they can't win 11, 12, 13 games. That's coming from Jay Gruden himself. If anybody has a reason to hate us with the way that we did them and how Dan Snyder did them and things like that, Jay Gruden did used to hate on this too. That's why I feel like his opinion right here is pretty noteworthy, because back, just a few years ago when we were bad, especially under Ron Rivera, he's been kind of hating on us. Even with the small successes that we've had, he's downplayed them, ignored them, brushed them off, just basically like Stephen A. Smith. Now even he's come around. Then you have PFT commenter, and then this is like the only person that's like actually a Commanders fan, but he said Lamar and Jayden next week could be an all-time passing of the torch game. Can Jackson finally surpass Daniels and become the best dual threat quarterback this year? Will be fun to watch. Yes, you heard him. He said, can Lamar Jackson finally surpass Jayden Daniels and become the best quarterback, the best dual threat quarterback in the NFL? I love it. Then you have Mike Renner. He said Jayden Daniels might already be the best goal ball thrower in the entire NFL. Then you have Steve Smith Sr., and it was a play that a lot of people looked at as a negative, but it's when Jayden Daniels is third and long, backed up in his own end zone. He ends up overthrowing Zach Ertz, but Steve Smith Sr., who first of all doesn't like anybody. Y'all know Steve Smith over there from the Carolina Panthers, used to play for the Carolina Panthers, and how he gets and things like that. He doesn't like anybody unless you earn his utmost respect. He even loves Jayden Daniels. He basically broke down the play and said that this was like elite IQ and awareness from Jayden Daniels. Even though he overthrew Zach Ertz, the situational awareness here was elite, and that's what's going to carry him forward to being a great and elite quarterback at the NFL level for a very long time. So shouts out to Steve Smith Sr. for even on a negative play that Jayden Daniels had. That's high praise. You even have people in the comment section saying that you're just loving him for no reason. This was a bad play and basically downplaying what Jayden Daniels did, and Steve Smith Sr. standing 10 toes down on no. Y'all just don't know football. Then you have Colin Cowherd. He said Jayden Daniels is just messing with people at this point. Then you have Alex Wilson as well. He is the founder of Empire Sports Media, New York sports content creator. So if anything, he's Giants and Jets, all of that type of stuff. He said Jayden Daniels has turned the Commanders into a winning football team as a rookie. And there are still people out there trying to convince me that Daniel Jones will save the Giants in year 6. And that's a good point too, because Jayden Daniels hit the ground running immediately. And I know a lot of people say be patient with your quarterback. But hey, man, matter of fact, forget what I was about to say. Giants, keep him. You can't do any better than Daniel Jones. Keep him permanently. Make sure that's your quarterback out there overthrowing and underthrowing receivers perpetually for the rest of our lives. And then you also have the Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco of the Nightcap Show, and you can even see just from the video. And just to let you know, most of these things I'm reading to y'all have videos attached, so if you want to go look them up and watch them yourself and hear it from their own words, you definitely can. I would encourage it even. But they have Jayden Daniels shining as a rookie as like the graphic for the video that they're doing. But they also tweeted the Commanders looked up on a star. Jayden came ready to dominate. And then again in the video, which is like a whole 54 seconds long, it's just Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco going back and forth praising Jayden Daniels. They are definitely believers right now. Then you have the Pat McAfee show. They've had several compliments about Jayden Daniels over the last couple of weeks. But one of the most notable ones was, quote, Jayden Daniels has had a great start to the season and he's been fantastic. You even have Bill Belichick on their show saying that, quote, he's a very explosive athlete and he did a great job against Cleveland, unquote. So everybody on the Pat McAfee show, even Bill Belichick, who comes up there pretty often, also loves Jayden Daniels a lot. He even also pointed out that I think it was on a different show yesterday or this morning, not on the Pat McAfee show, but somewhere else, he pointed out the fact that, yeah, I drafted Cliff Kingsbury. You see what he's doing, basically, you know, kind of showing some pride, like, yeah, I'm the one that drafted Cliff Kingsbury as a quarterback, and look at what he's doing as a defensive coordinator. So Bill Belichick is very proud of Cliff Kingsbury and the offense that he's deploying here, and I felt like that was really notable as well. Then you have Get Up. You have Darren Orlovsky on there. He said that he's basically a believer in Jayden Daniels and the Commanders. He said, quote, Washington has found their Lamar Jackson. This team is going to contend for Super Bowls because of Jayden Daniels, unquote. That is the exact quote from Darren Orlovsky there, and that's a 35-second clip, and nobody's disagreeing with him. You have Damian Woody out there saying that basically he agrees. Like I think last week or even the week before that, he was saying that Jayden Daniels is already the best quarterback in the NFC East. You have Rex Ryan, who doesn't disagree. Of course, you have Mike Greenberg, who's been loving Jayden Daniels the entire way as well. The whole Get Up show right now are big Jayden Daniels' fans. Then you also have Marcus Spears at, like, I think it's after the Commanders-Browns game, breaking it down, and he's with Ryan Clark. Of course, Ryan Clark is a huge Jayden Daniels believer. You know, granted, now he's biased, LSU fan, LSU grad, all of that type of stuff, born and raised Louisiana. He's been riding with Jayden Daniels since a couple of years ago. But Marcus Spears even said, quote, I think the Commanders win the NFC East, unquote, and talked about how Jayden Daniels has elevated the entire Commanders organization. If you want to check that out, that's a whole 51-second clip as well. Then you have Travis Hunter talking about Jayden Daniels on his own show podcast back on October 6th and said that, hey, man, Jayden Daniels is the truth, basically. Like, this guy's elite. He is playing his tail off right now. Hey, man, you want to join? Travis Hunter, you want to pull up to the Commanders? You know what I'm saying? Do me this favor as a fellow Metro Atlanta guy. You know what I'm saying? Do what you got to do to fall to the Commanders, because we're not going to pick high enough to get you. But you got to do what you got to do to tell teams, don't even draft me. I'm trying to go to the Commanders. Please. And then you also even have Micah Parsons and Darius Slay, two NFC East rival star players. Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys and Darius Slay of the Eagles. He's one of their cornerbacks, of course. And they're basically just talking about how we got another threat in our division, bro. I just can't believe this. Like, they both just look exhausted. They're giving them compliments, but it's more so from the point of view of a division rival that's like, man, we got to play this twice a week. And neither of them have had a chance to go against them. And from the video, it does not look like they're looking forward to it. It's a whole 58-second video if you want to go check that out. Then you have Trevon Diggs up there with Micah Parsons, another Cowboy with another Cowboy, one edge rusher, one corner, saying that Jayden Daniels will ball out versus the Ravens, and he also gave Dan Quinn a lot of praise for how he motivates the players, and you can just tell that Cowboys players miss Dan Quinn. So this is a compliment to Dan Quinn. This is a compliment to what Jayden Daniels is doing, and he also, from Trevon Diggs' point of view, saying that Jayden Daniels will ball out against the Ravens, even as good as that defense is. Micah Parsons has been on the Jayden Daniels bandwagon, basically, not even bandwagon, he's been a supporter since the draft. Remember when we first drafted him and he had the draft coverage with CJ Stroud? It was him and CJ Stroud all summer, but even like during the draft coverage, he like basically just shook his head and facepalm like, man, I gotta go against this twice a year. And so he's not even surprised by what Jayden Daniels is doing right now, because he already knew it. Then you have Jeff Saturday also on Get Up, along with Dominique Foxworth and a couple other people talking about Jayden Daniels. This is a whole different situation with Get Up, and he said, Jeff Saturday talked about who's the better quarterback between the Eagles and the Commanders. He said, oh, the Commanders. You could almost say about that about 28 other teams, though, and everybody up there laughs but agrees. Like, yeah, Jayden Daniels is easily the best quarterback in the NFC East right now and one of the 5-6 best quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Again, that's including Jeff Saturday and Dominique Foxworth as well, on top of the fact that earlier, like I said, Damian Woody, Rex Ryan, Mike Greenberg, all of those guys agreed. Dan Orlovsky, too. Then you even have J.J. Watt later on the Pat McAfee show just yesterday talking about Jayden Daniels. He said, quote, if you had to vote right now, I don't see how you could vote for anyone other than Jayden Daniels for MVP right now. That is coming from J.J. Watt. That is an exact quote from him. And if you want to go check that out, that's a whole minute and 50-second clip from the Pat McAfee show right there. J.J. Watt absolutely loves Jayden Daniels. Speaking of loving Jayden Daniels, Fox Sports ranked their quarterbacks. They basically did like a quarterback power ranking, and it's Henry McKenna's. I believe that's how you pronounce that name. And Jayden Daniels is second overall on their list. They have Lamar Jackson 1, then Jayden Daniels, and then Joe Burrow. Last week, he had Jayden Daniels 5th, moved up 3 spots to 2nd, and Joe Burrow was 8th and moved up 5 spots to 3rd. Again, Lamar Jackson has been 1st on his list for now 2 weeks in a row, but Fox Sports has Jayden Daniels as 2nd. And then you have the 33rd team. They have their quarterback rankings as well. Their order's a little mixed up, but I prefer theirs because they have Jayden Daniels as the number 1 quarterback in the entire NFL. Then it's Joe Burrow, then it's Lamar Jackson, then it's Josh Allen, then it's Pat Mahomes, then Jared Goff, then Derek Carr, who's hurt now, Baker Mayfield, then Brock Purdy, then Kyler Murray. That's your top 10. Just to let you know, no NFC East quarterbacks in that top 10, and I love to hear it. And again, Jayden Daniels, number 1. This is from Dan Pizzuta. I hope that's how you pronounce that name. Shouts out to the 33rd team for showing the most love to Jayden Daniels. Now moving on, Frankie Luvu's also been getting some good coverage as well. I mean, people have been talking about and hyping up Luvu all week now, and I'm loving it, man. And just the fact that he was able to beat that one of those sacks he had against the Browns where he did a spin move on the center and then ran right past the guard and then found a way to track down Deshaun Watson while he was trying to escape the pocket was absolutely amazing. But Ari Myrov did a whole NFL spotlight segment on Frankie Luvu, like a whole show, just interviewing Frankie Luvu, giving him his praise, asking Frankie Luvu interesting questions. Make sure you go check that out. That is at My Sports Update. Frankie Luvu's getting a lot of the shine that he deserves. Then you have Doug Farrar. He was one of the guys that said Frankie Luvu would be the second, at least top 3 linebacker in the NFL before the season even started, after we first signed him. And then he checked up on him just a couple of days ago on October 7th. He said linebacker Frankie Luvu was one of my favorite players to watch when he was with the Panthers. I kind of figured Dan Quinn would create some situations for him to be even more diabolical as a pass rusher. And then space, that has happened at the Commanders. So shouts out to the Frankie Luvu love. He deserves some as well. And then also, just earlier today, Pepsi, and you know I'm from Atlanta, so I'm Coca-Cola, but you know what I'm saying, it is what it is. Shouts out Pepsi for showing Jayden Daniels a lot of love. Either way, Pepsi awarded Jayden Daniels as the Week 5 Rookie of the Week, the Pepsi Zero Sugar Rookie of the Week. And that's crazy because there's only been 5 weeks of NFL football so far, and he's won it 4 of those 5 times. That is absolutely insane, y'all. 4 of the 5 have gone to Jayden Daniels. He has won 80% of the Rookie of the Week awards that have been handed out so far this season. Now, of course, Bears fans right now are having a fit on the internet because they're comparing Caleb Williams' stats to Jayden Daniels. And I mean, hey man, that's what you get. You should have played better earlier. I mean, who knew? Just as a Commanders fan, when there's a quarterback from another team that does have honestly slightly better stats than a quarterback on our team from a week, and then our quarterback is the one that gets all of the praise and the other guys overlooked. Because typically, even when we've had great moments from any player, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, linebacker, defensive lineman, corner, safety, whatever, like if another guy has anywhere near the same week that they have, or year, season, whatever you want to consider, whatever time frame you want to go on, like it's just like the Commanders player always gets overlooked and ignored. Now the tables have turned. Now Jayden Daniels has so much hype behind him that even though Caleb Williams did have better stats in Week 5 in his victory over the Panthers, they still gave the Rookie of the Week award to Jayden Daniels because he's just that guy. That's kind of how Pro Bowls and All Pros work work, where like some guys may not have literally been better than other guys in the NFL at their particular position, but they've been winning it for a couple of years now. They're the more household name, and that's how they continue to win those awards. That's basically the same thing Jayden Daniels pulled off this week. Jayden Daniels balled out, but I could argue that Caleb Williams did have the better statistical game, at least more efficient, and also he had the better completion percentage, he had the better passer rating than anything like that. But then again, he went against the Panthers defense. Jayden Daniels had to do that against a really good Browns defense, and Terry McLaurin dropped an easy touchdown in the corner of the end zone by wide receiver standards. I wouldn't be able to catch it, so I'm not judging them, but that was still like wide receiver wise, especially wide receiver one wise, Terry McLaurin could have caught that. Still had a good game overall, but like Jayden Daniels' stats, my point is, could have been even better. But hey, man, I see why Bears fans are mad, but hey, stay mad. Stay mad, because I don't care. Yeah, Jayden Daniels can't hear you with all them 4 Rookie of the Week awards around him right now. He can't even hear all that noise. So Commanders fans have been going back and forth with Bears fans on the internet about this all week. But hey, man, that is what it is. I mean, also, you do got to point out the fact that Jayden Daniels, even though, I mean, now passer rating and completion percentage wise, that's maybe a separate story. But overall stats wise, remember, Jayden Daniels didn't play pretty much the entire fourth quarter. And even though the Bears were whooping on the Panthers, Caleb Williams played the entire game, all 4 quarters. So that is an argument for Jayden Daniels' sake, that he was so dominant that he was able to sit out the fourth quarter. Either way, I don't care. Bears fans, stay mad. I'm not about to sit here and provide excuses or why I'm happy. Jayden Daniels win Offensive Rookie of the Week. Your rookie didn't. Ha ha. Moving on. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned for all of the content. I'm working on another video to come out with later on today, this evening / tonight. So stay tuned for that. I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you do not leave this video without leaving that like button. And of course, let me know how you feel about all of this national media praise, even from people that used to hate on us. How do you feel about Jayden Daniels now being one of those household names, to the point where even if he doesn't have the best week, people are still going to praise him? Just like how Pat Mahomes hasn't necessarily had like the best season so far, but people still have him in their top quarterback categories. Because first of all, we've seen in the past that once you start to doubt the Chiefs, they turn it up, especially in the playoffs when it matters most. But also, just, you know, Pat Mahomes, you know his name, you've seen what he's done in the past, and it's just no way you can doubt him, no matter what he's actually doing in the present time right now. Jayden Daniels is starting to enter that territory where even if another quarterback like Caleb Williams has a better week, even though he's the #1 overall pick and started with a head start when it came to these Offensive Rookie of the Week advantages and being a household name, Jayden Daniels has basically lapped them to the point that even when Caleb Williams has the slightly better game, Jayden Daniels still wins the award. Let me know how you feel about all of that, all of the praise coming from the haters, from the believers, all of that, especially the fact that even Frankie Luvu is starting to get some praise, Dan Quinn is getting praise, even guys like Michael Parsons, Trevon Diggs, and Darius Slay, division rival starters, are praising Jayden Daniels, or even showing stress about the fact that they even have to go against him twice a week and they haven't even had a chance to play him yet. Let me know how you feel about all of that. I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.